to Organization Night. I'm Jim Buckley.
I'm Sandra Curtin.
Organization Night is part of Membership Week. During this past week, we've been running, for example, on Monday night, we've been running programs over the last 20 years, of which we had guests with Charlie Gilbert. Sandra Curtin was on that evening, and Bill showed a tour of the studio. Tom Pizarro, I think, had some Cub Scouts in there running around, giving him a tour also. And we actually did a cut to Dawn and Ron's town meeting, which was being held at the town hall, which was a real technical coup to be able to do that. So this evening is Organization Night, as I said, and we're going to start it off with Sandra.
Okay, thank you very much. Tonight I'm here with Peter McGinn. Peter, if you'll come in. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Sandra. It's nice to be here.
We haven't met one another before because you're new to Wilmington and new as of August 1st. So perhaps you could tell everybody what your capacity is in the Wilmington Public Schools.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra. I'm Wilmington's new assistant superintendent and very excited about joining the Wilmington Public Schools and very happy to be here and be given this opportunity by WCTV during its membership week to come and talk a little bit about the Wilmington Public Schools.
Right. We always like to highlight all the major organizations, and of course the public school is in a way a major organization of the town. Now, I understand that we're in the second year of, maybe you could go into more about that.
Sure. I thought it might be appropriate to share the 6 elements of Wilmington's strategic plan, which was adopted by the Wilmington School Committee prior to last year. So we are entering the second year. And if I might just talk about the 6 focus areas of the plan briefly. The first theme area is that of student learning, and we believe that by maintaining a focus on the curriculum, that is what we teach students, what we hope they learn, how we instruct those students, and then how we assess the students in terms of are we being successful in those students learning what we'd hope they would. So that's theme number 1, student learning. Theme number 2 is the professional development of our teaching staff. And we do believe, as the research substantiates, that students learn optimally in those schools where the adults continue to learn. So we recognize also that our students, as students do in all communities, our students learn differently. So we want to continue to provide and build the capacity of the teachers to respond to those diverse learning styles. So area number 2 is professional development.
Excuse me, now do you offer teachers programs to go to within the system so that like on an evening or something they could go, or is it more that they go to courses?
Quite a spectrum. All of what you just mentioned, after-school workshops, workshops that are conducted during the day, perhaps outside of the district. We encourage teachers to enroll and provide credit or recognize credit from coursework they might do at a higher institution, higher ed, and which all of those we hope will, again, professionally develop our staff to better meet the needs of Wilmington's children.
Excellent.
The other focus areas are facilities. We want to make sure that our physical plants, the schools, are kept in a condition that will support the education of students, staff, and the community. So facilities are very important to us. The community is another area of focus, and we want to maintain and build strong relationships with civic, business, and community groups. You've heard, I'm sure, the notion that it takes a village to educate a child,
Right.
and we believe that the community of Wilmington has some resources that would certainly enhance our ability to educate its children. So,
I hope WCTV will be one of the resources that you go to.
and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, okay.
The theme 5 is that of making use of the information technologies and make sure that as we instruct students that they're learning how to make use of the just explosion of new technologies. And
hard
we
to
know
keep
once
up
they
with.
leave our schools that certainly they'll have advantages if in fact they're able to harness the power of the various information technologies. So technology is theme area 5. And then finally, communication. Certainly the school committee, Superintendent Benton, all want to communicate effectively what's happening in the schools and the successes of the Wilmington's children. And we'd like to, this year, enhance our ability to communicate by creating a better website, more informative, more up-to-date, and then finally to take advantage of other media outlets such as WCTV.
Excellent.
So we're really looking forward to building a relationship with WCTV.
Very good, yeah. There actually is an established relationship, I believe, with the middle schools and with the high school students who produce some of their own programs here. So we're always happy to see them here. It livens it up, definitely.
Yeah. It's quite an enrichment to our curriculum to have them doing real live projects such as the ones they're involved in here at WCTV.
Now, personally, coming on new this year, how did you find everything to be? You said everybody's very friendly, and do you find any areas that you particularly personally want to be involved with?
Well, my job requires me to be involved in some of these areas that are that I've talked about in the strategic plan, the area of curriculum, instruction, assessment. It's very exciting because, of course, it's very important how successful we are with youngsters and their success, helping them to realize their success. So I'm involved in those areas, the last line in my job description reads, and anything else the superintendent deems appropriate.
I've had those contracts, yes.
Yes, yeah. So, and I've found the community to be very welcoming. I find that there's certainly a considerable amount of pride in the community schools by its residents and the workers, the town workers. The buildings look wonderful in terms of their the shine that's on them as school opened. So I'm really very impressed with Wilmington's public schools, but also the community.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to welcome you. We hope we see you more at WCTV.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, Peter, very much for the interview.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Back to Jim.
Hey, Sandra. I have with me Lou Samaglia, who wears a lot of hats in town. As we know, he's a selectman, he's a local hero, head of the local heroes. And tonight he's here to represent another job that he has, his regular job, I guess, Department of Veteran Services. Would you talk about that, Lou?
Sure. Thank you, Jim, and thanks for having this evening. This is very informational for everybody in town. As Jim said, my name is Lou Samaglia. I run the Department of Veteran Services here in Wilmington, and what we do in that department is to assist veterans and their dependents with all the applying for and getting benefits either through the state level under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 115, which assists them with their medical bills and different things of that nature, and through the VA, which is the federal program, applying for compensations, different pensions, and health care through the VA system. It's an amazing job. I've been able to help many veterans and dependents. Widows of veterans are also eligible, and I just want to say that starting a week from Monday, on the 24th of September, I will be at the Senior Center at 9 in the morning, and I'm going to try and make that a monthly thing, where one Monday a month I will be at the Senior Center to answer questions and go over any benefits that the seniors may, and answer any questions the seniors may have.
You're going to be at the Senior Center? Let me hold that. I guess that's the best way. You're going to be at the Senior Center. Can anybody go to that to get some information on?
Oh, sure.
I would think so, right?
Oh, sure, absolutely. The reason I go to the senior center is a lot of, obviously, World War II veterans, Korea War veterans that are still pretty active in the senior center, and widows of veterans as well. And they're also always welcome to come to the office at the town hall. My offices are from 9 to 5.
Okay.
Every
Now,
day.
you're in touch with all our active servicemen? You know who all the active servicemen are?
I do. Not so much on all the active servicemen. If they're on active duty, I do not know unless the family reaches out to me. If they're in Afghanistan or Iraq, a lot of them obviously reach out through local heroes or through my office, and if the families back home need assistance, whether it's paying bills or working their way through the VA system, they can contact my office. I do get notified when they come home, but I do not know who's on active duty unless I have been notified. And right now, I know that we have at least 15 boys and girls that are on active duty in either Iraq or Afghanistan from Wilmington.
Okay, my understanding from is that you have an office in Wilmington as well as Reading. You cover Reading also, right?
No, as of July 1st this year, I'm full-time in Wilmington. Reading hired their own veteran service officer.
Okay, so you're full-time in Wilmington now. Oh, that's great. Let's talk about, you mentioned local heroes. Would you like to talk about that, how they started, what their function is, and where they meet, and how people can help?
Sure. Local heroes, when my unit went back over this time, I started sending packages, and a couple of friends heard about it. We were sending packages, and we decided to start a nonprofit organization. And we have met every Wednesday night since November 3rd of 2004 to pack and ship packages overseas. We are 100% nonprofit. Every money we take in goes either to buying supplies to ship over, pay for postage, or to assist the families back home. And we do meet every Wednesday night at the Knights of Columbus in Wilmington here behind St. Thomas, and we have shipped almost 4,500 packages over, and as well as helping a lot of families back home with tanks of oil, electric, the families that have small kids while daddy's away, and we've been able to help them out with bills and home repairs and different things like that.
Yeah, you mentioned, I think it was last year, you had added a porch on, or you helped?
A set of front stairs.
A set of front stairs, that's what it was.
A Wilmington family, the father was overseas and mom was home with 2 small boys, and the winter he was away, the front stairs fell apart, and we were able to purchase the material, and Kevin Catania from Wilmington, Mason, built the whole set of stairs for her and did a nice job.
Well, that's great, because a boy or a woman going into the service, knowing that that's available to them must make them feel a little more at ease.
Right. We've also kind of turned into a support group on Wednesday nights. There's many family members that come down and pack packages for their loved ones, and it's very therapeutic to them to be able to talk to other family members that are going through the same thing. And we do meet every Wednesday night, and there's support groups that are around that they meet once a month, and it's very helpful for the family members to be able to talk. And the fact that we meet every week is pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. I was going to say, if somebody wants to help, they just go down to the KSC, if they want to help the local heroes. And do you have a website also?
I do. It's mass-localheroes.org, mass-localheroes.org. And we have a dedicated phone line as well, 978-658-3000.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lou, for stopping by.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jim.
Okay. We'll be back in one moment. Thank you very much.
If you think about where these dogs are coming from, they're not being bred to be sold to people. These are dogs that are already in the world and they don't have a home, they don't have anyone taking care of them or looking after them. She was spayed, she had all of her shots, she was started on all the puppy meds, and then she came with a leash and a collar and some food, and we were off in the car with our little puppy.
May I have your attention, please? Would the owner of the spare tire, slightly hairy, with a little brown mole to the left of the belly button, it's an innie, please report to the press box and retrieve your appendage. Oh, they must have lost this parking further away from the stadium and walking in. Yeah. Okay, we're back to the action.
Passing gas in the presence of others is not only inappropriate,
That is so foul.
it can be deadly. Passing gas releases a fog of carbon monoxide
Grandpa,
and other poisonous fumes that can contribute to asthma and pneumonia.
you're killing us over here.
Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas. Take it outside.
It's a stereotype.
The older generation thinks that we're just troublemakers.
I don't feel like I really have a voice, like, in my community or in my school. It makes me feel bad because I'm not a bad person.
Okay, welcome back. There again, I'm Jim Buckley, and this is Organizational Night. We have with us, here I lost my note. Could you?
My name is Robert Hayes, and I'm the president of the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library.
Okay, could you tell us about what the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library do?
Absolutely. Well, the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library, they promote public awareness for the library, and they provide financial support for services and programs that are beyond the town's budget.
Okay,
Yeah, we are a local nonprofit organization, and we've been in Wilmington for the past 10 years.
okay. Do you have a website that?
We do. You can access it off the Wilmington Library's website. That's www.wilmlibrary.org.
Okay, is there a? I know you raise a lot of money. There's a lot of things you've done at the library, which we'll look at in a second.
Sure.
How do you get your money? I know you do a membership drive every year, and that helps generate some money. But what else do you do?
That's a great question. We get our revenue mainly from 3 different places. And first, let me just say that this year we've actually raised nearly $22,000 so far.
Wow, how did you do that?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. First is membership. We have nearly 1,415 memberships, which roughly translates into about 575 members. And members generally have to renew their memberships at the end of the spring or early summer. And it's interesting to note that amongst the 351 communities in Massachusetts, Wilmington has the 42nd largest Friends group. So we're pretty proud of that. And membership applications are available online at the library and at the Friends Used Bookstore. Also, in terms of incentives for members to join, we're always looking for new members. They receive a quarterly newsletter, discounts and coupons at the bookstore next door, postcards and email reminders of upcoming programs, and rewarding volunteer opportunities. So another way we get our money is through our annual appeal. And this year we will be raising funds for the upcoming second phase of the Children's Room Makeover. We've already set aside $10,000 for that, and we hope to raise an additional $15,000 so that we can give the library a grand total of $25,000 at the beginning of next year. And the appeal letter will go out sometime in November, and in case you do not receive one, there'll also be some available at the library. And then the third way that we raise our money, and the final way, is the bookstore next door. We have only been open about 4 full months, and we've raised over $7,000 to date. And it's really a huge community success story. We've had nearly 50 residents volunteer so far. And the store is open every Saturday from 10 to 4, and it's located between the Nichols Funeral Home and the library.
Okay. I think we have some shots of the improvements of the things that you've done in the past year.
Great.
If we can put them up on the monitor. See if we got them. Until okay.
Well, I can verbalize them if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was hoping they'd come up and then we could talk about them, but I guess...
That's fine. We've actually given, this year we've given $24,000 to our library, and we've made several changes.
Okay, time out. Yeah, here we go. Sure. Okay, there's a picture. Oh, it looks like the come over this way.
Oh, great. Yeah, sure. No, that is the reupholstered furniture in the adult reading area that we funded that. And yeah, you'll see the makeover in the downstairs. They got a new reference desk, a new circulation desk, new computers, So they really did quite a lot. And the Friends helped out where they could. We also got a 24/7 drive-up book return. So you no longer have to get out of your car to return your books. You can just drive up to the curb and drop them in the return.
Yeah.
And that's been very popular.
Okay, I think we had that. That was...
I apologize.
No, that's okay. It's good I wanted you to talk about it anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, there again, you did the reference desk was done over?
Yeah. Well, just to clarify, too, some of this was done through town money as well.
No, I'm more interested in the improvements. I know you guys did a lot, but the improvements at the library.
Right.
Was the reference desk and
Sure,
the new chairs and
absolutely, the friends bought those.
And the circulation desk was done over.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks
the computer area was done over.
Computer area was done over.
And the book drop and the bookstore, which you folks run.
Absolutely, that's right.
Okay, so here is our Wilmington Library. We should be supporting it. It is our library, and it's great to have the Friends of the Wilmington Library to do that. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Or?
No, I think I'm pretty much good. I did want to, if we had time, I wanted to just recognize some of the volunteers who help out on behalf of the Friends. In particular, I wanted to single out the executive board members who help. We meet monthly. We meet second Tuesday of every month during non-summer months from 7 to 9 in the library's conference room. And I just want to recognize these people because they do so much on behalf of the Friends, and they make a lot of the important decisions for the group.
Sure.
Steve Bjork is our advocacy chair. Deb Como is our recording secretary. Lisa Crispin, our publicity chair. Leslie Dietrich is the bookstore manager. Shirley Hatfield's our decorator chair. Barbara Hooper is our programming chair. Peggy Kane's our vice president. Jim LeMay is our treasurer. Joy LeMay is our membership chair. Eileen McDougall is our trustee liaison. Jeff Nussbaum is our corresponding secretary. Diane Pizzette and Charlotte Stewart are our hospitality co-chairs. And Tina Stewart, of course, is the library director.
Right. Oh, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much,
It's great
sir.
to hear about it.
Thank you.
Sandra?
With me is Rick Barry, and Rick is a long-time worker for Camp 40 Acres. And Rick, this year you're the president?
President of the Board of Directors.
Okay, and you say 20 years. Now, how did you start off at?
Somebody asked me if I was interested. I was out of college and I had been involved with the Boy Scout program.
Right.
And I said, sure, it's just one meeting a year. You don't have to worry about joining anything else. They're just looking for some young blood.
Right.
And I think that was in 1980, so that would be 27 years ago.
Oh, wow, that's unbelievable. And the camp has changed a lot in that period of time.
It has. In fact, for many years, it was an open facility where we encouraged outdoor camping and hiking, and a lot of the groups, like the Boy Scout and Girl Scouts, used it primarily. But recently, our focus has been to look at the original articles of organization that were established in 1948, and it's a youth facility. So we're trying to encourage more youth groups to use it. We just recently had, last Sunday, the Methodist Church youth group come up and do a few hours of our ropes course. We have the 5th grade program that's going on 11 years straight this year, where they come up and they do some classwork activities that are tied into the curriculum in Wilmington. And we'd like to see more of that, so we're trying to make improvements to make sure that those that don't like to sleep on the ground in tents can also come up and use the camp as well.
I could include myself on that. The summer activities, maybe we could just take them by season. What's available there in the summer?
We established 5 years ago a summer camp for kids entering kindergarten to 7th grade. And we call it an adventure camp because we want to teach the kids in Wilmington some of the things that they see around town in their own backyards. Identifying nature, we take them on hikes every day. We teach them how to use map and compass skills. They learn how to build things with logs, and we just also like the fact that we give kids an alternative to get outside during the summertime rather than be, somewhere else. So we really have found that to be very successful in the summer.
And what about in the fall, heading into the winter?
The fall, winter, and spring camp has always been open and is used primarily right now by Boy Scout groups. We're trying to change that. The Outdoor Life program that used to come in the spring is now switched to the fall, so they'll be coming up in October, and that's all the 5th grades in Wilmington. And in the wintertime, we have a cabin that's insulated and has a wood stove, so we can sleep 20 people a night in the cabin. And we have a couple of tent platforms that have been built by some of the Eagle Scouts in Wilmington. And so they are up off the ground, and that can extend their seasons. But the fall is usually occupied on weekends by a lot of the Boy Scout troops in the area and in some of the places closer to Boston.
If someone wants to snowshoe or do something like that in the wintertime, or they want to use the camp, who do they contact?
We have a phone number.
Okay.
And we also have a full-time caretaker there now who also will take the bookings. And the phone number is 978-658-8187.
8187.
And that's who they would contact. When we get snow, it's one of the best places to snowshoe because it has such a varied terrain, and it borders the 160-acre town forest. So there's really about 200 acres of open space up there. That's just spectacular, beautiful place to be.
Well, even though it's been many years, I can just tell that you still love it.
You know, you don't have to spend too much time up there, anybody really, to start to realize the value of it. And the Wilmington's lucky to have a place like this.
Yeah,
There are very few
absolutely.
places left where you still have an opportunity to go up and enjoy open space and see animals, wild turkeys, and occasional deer runs through. So it really is. You don't have to put a lot of effort in to really love the place.
Yeah. And how do you get to Camp 40 Acres?
Actually, if you travel 125 north from the North Intermediate School where 125 begins, and you go to the second intersection, which would be Andover Street. You take a left on Andover Street. It's 1.4 miles up Andover Street.
Oh, okay.
You actually cross into Andover for a short period of time before going back into the camp.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Rick. You're
Thank you
a
for
good
having us.
component advocate for Camp 40 Acres.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Back to you, Jim.
We're privileged to have with us Denise Gentili. If you ever want a woman working for you, this is the woman you want working for you. She presently is working to promote the Wilmington's third annual Happy Birthday Road Race half marathon, which will be a 13.1 mile. That's a half marathon, and also a 5K run. Can you want to talk about that? It's kind of exciting times.
Yep, thank you for having me. I want to tell you all about our race that we're running this year. It's our third year running it. People have loved the course. We've gotten excellent feedback on it. And this year we've expanded the race, and we're also going to have a 5K, so we can get those of you who aren't the athlete that want to do a whole half marathon. It's going to be held on September 30th, which is a Sunday. Starting time will be 10 o'clock. We'll have pre-registration going on that morning, probably starting around 8:30. It's going to be held on Route 62, where RMA and Dinette World, the driveway in between the two of those locations. You can come there and sign up. You can also go to coolrunnings.com, I think it is, and you can get registration forms there. There are several also around town in different places. I happen to work at Reading Cooperative Bank, and there's applications there. You can come in and see me and get any information that you may want on it. We're also looking for sponsors. We're trying to make this a real town project. We would like the businesses, we would like the small businesses, we would like the people to all become a part of this race. This is our third year. It's growing. Each year we're getting better, and the more support we get, the better it is. So if you're a business out there and you want to support the town, you can contact me. You can come into the bank and talk to me. You can contact Laura O'Hearn by sending her a letter. She lives at 49 Ashwood Road in Wilmington, and you can talk to Tom Pizzera when you see him around town. Find out any information on sponsoring, how you can donate, what you can donate, and help us along with this race. We're really looking forward to it this year. Because of the fact that we have the 5K, we think that this is something that more people will participate in. At the finish line, we're going to have music, we're going to have some fun stuff for kids, face painting, ice cream, a little bit of, festivities going on. And I don't know if any of you have ever been to a race. I got introduced to racing through my husband, and we used to go to the Boston Marathon. When you come to a race, it's a different type of an atmosphere. The people come across that finish line. It's not the person who finishes it first that means the most. That person who comes in 25th means just as much, because it's a personal accomplishment that they set a goal and they made it and they did it for themselves. And you gotta get goosebumps when you're there and you're seeing these people come across this finish line, no matter where, whether they're first, second, 97th, or whatever they are in the running. It's just a really great experience, and we hope you can all come out and join us.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun if you've done any jogging or running or walking. It's this 3.1 mile race might be just for you. As Denise said, everybody likes to do what they call their PR or personal record, so they're not necessarily running against a person running to finish first. They're running for their own personal accomplishment, and it's a great atmosphere at the finish line. All the families there, and there's music, and there's a lot going on. So it's a great day, and we're trying to make it a greater day with the hard work with people like Tom and Denise. It's been a successful. It's been a very successful day.
Well, like I said, thank you for having us, and we hope that people listening out there will join us, whether it be with the 5K, half marathon, or in a form of sponsoring us. We really, really want to make this a town project that everyone can be proud of, enjoy for the day.
Okay, thank you very much, Denise. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Why do I call it a funny bone?
Why can't penguins fly?
Like a sea safety. Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
I never really tried to commit suicide, but I came awful close because I used to play matador with buses. You know, I would walk out into the traffic of New York City with no reference to traffic lights, red or green, almost hoping that I would get knocked down.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. It takes a man to be a dad.
Hi, my name is Bob DePalma. I'm with the Wilmington Food Pantry. The Wilmington Food Pantry started back in January of '92, and myself and another gentleman named Jim Hatchie, we were both members of the Wilmington Community Fund at that time, and we saw the need for food donations throughout the year. At that time, the Community Fund was helping families out at Thanksgiving time. After we helped at Thanksgiving, we realized that the economy was such that these people needed help during the entire year. Now, nobody's hungry just at Thanksgiving time, and then they're all set for the rest of the year. So we went to the town, and we were able to get a room donated for our use at the Swain School, and we were there up until last October, when this building here at 142 Chestnut Street, the Old South School, and many of you will remember it as where the skating club was, and then where the Marines were for a while, and now it's the Wilmington Food Pantry. When we started back in 1992, Jim Hatchie and myself were thinking that, probably 2 years and then we'd be all set. The economy would be back up to where it should be, and nobody would no longer need our services. Well, we were wrong. And here we are a number of years later, and the demand is increasing, not decreasing. We've been averaging about 100 families that are registered with us. And out of that 100, we'll end up with about 80 families a month coming in and out of to use our services. The demand is tremendous. It hasn't decreased. The food supplies that we give out, we're trying to maintain the same volume of food that we give out. And the town has come through for us constantly with programs like Donations from the Heart and the schools, the churches, fraternal groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. I'd be reluctant to name all the groups because I know I'd forget a number of people, because it's not all groups, it's individuals that will just come in here whenever we demonstrate a need and make generous donations to help out the people in Wilmington. Wilmington is a very generous town, a very caring town, and a very giving town. And we can't thank them enough. Not only do they give food, they give of their time and their services. The building that you see right here, when we were putting it all together, we had various town departments helping us out. We had various churches helping us out, various fraternal groups helping us out. Students from the high school came over and scrubbed this place clean. It was a complete community effort, and it was wonderful to see. We can't thank the town enough. About 5 years ago, Wilmington Community TV, Wilmington Cable TV, came to us with an idea that we thought was wonderful, and it was win-win all around. They wanted to come up with a program for Valentine's Day where we would, believe they were at that time even thinking of calling it Donations from the Heart, and that's what it's called today. And anyone who made a food donation through cable TV to the Wilmington Food Pantry would be able to put a message on cable TV to their loved ones. The idea just grew and grew and grew. That was 5 years ago. And as of this year, the donations have increased every single year. The number of people taking advantage of putting messages to loved ones on cable has increased. Food to the pantry has increased. It's win-win all around. And this year we're looking forward to, again in February, to working with cable TV for the same purpose.
Aren't you gonna kiss me?
I gotta go.
Nobody likes to kiss an ashtray.
Can I help you, sir?
Found these over by the stairs.
Okay, thank you.
What are they?
Love handles. Lots of people lose them taking the stairs instead of the escalator.
One day, you were simply struggling to be a dad. The next, you're coping with a diagnosis of childhood cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
Oh, no! Banzai Cat is attacking the village. Mighty Banzai Cat is stalking before the final kill. We'll never get out of here alive if he sees us. We'll never escape in time. Ah! Medic! Medic! Is this the end of civilization? Mighty Banzai Cat waits no more! Ah! With one flick of the tail, it's all over! Colonel, where's that airstrike ordinance? The bombers are useless against Banzai
Think of all the fun you can have with an adopted pet. Contact your local shelter or pet adoption center.
Welcome back to Organization Night. I'm here with Terry McDermott, and Terry's involved with the Harnden Tavern the town museum?
The Wilmington Town Museum at the Colonel Joshua Harnden Tavern.
Excellent. Get everything in there.
That's right.
Terry, what goes on there?
Well, let's see. Right now, we have different activities that come and go during the year. Right now, we're looking to the September 23rd, Sunday, September 23rd, the Friends of Harnden Tavern, which is a volunteer organization that works to support the tavern, will be putting on their Harvest Festival from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. It's really popular. They dress up in old-fashioned clothes, and they do crafts. Last year, they did dyed cloth, and they showed them how to cook and make candles and lots of stuff. The kids really have a good time.
I've gone to a couple of different events that you've had at the tavern, and they've been excellent. It's not the usual thing that you would go to, but it's fun, it's different, and it's part of the town. I mean, these events did take place in that Harnden Tavern years and years ago.
It's a very popular place in the town. You know, the Friends of Harnden Tavern have existed almost as long as the town has owned the tavern, which has been for over 30 years.
Really?
And they also put on a holiday social in December, which is super popular. That's sort of the highlight.
That's what I went to.
The highlight of the year. And this year it will be, let me check, December 9th, actually, the holiday social. And they decorate the tavern as only the Friends can. It's beautiful. And they usually have seasonal refreshments, and they might have they may be different crafts for sale. That sort of depends. But it's mostly just to come, see your neighbors, and just be in an old-fashioned place and experience the holiday season. It's really a lot of fun.
Right. They had different musicians the year that I had gone.
We've done different things in different years. I think we had a harpist last year, and there's a lady who plays the organ. There's an organ in the museum that Mrs. Zano donated before my time working there. But it's a beautiful organ, and every year at Christmas, we have somebody who comes and plays it. I don't know anything about the organ myself, but it sounds beautiful when she plays. Yeah.
And there's always food involved.
Yeah, there's always food involved. You have to have food.
Now, how many days a week on a regular basis is the museum open?
On there Tuesday and Thursdays from 10 to 2. I'm there the first Sunday of the month, unless it's a holiday. Then it's the second Sunday, from 2 to 4. And there's one Wednesday a month I'm there 4 to 6. That often tends to be maybe when scout troops and things like that come by, but anyone's welcome. And for that matter, anybody can make an appointment to come. I work with people all the time who call. If they can't come the hours that I'm normally there, we can always work something out to bring them in at another time, an evening or afternoon or whatever. So,
and do you offer tours?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And we even came up this summer, we had a lot of activity with the Harnden family reunion, so we were able to come up with...
I read about that.
Yeah, it was very exciting. But in conjunction with that, we came up with a brochure that really takes people step by step through the museum, as well as my own taking people through and showing them things. It all depends on people's interests. You know, sometimes a tour can be 10 or 15 minutes if you just want to fly through, and sometimes it can be half an hour or so if people are interested in a specific topic or a specific exhibit we have. We have a couple of different exhibits going on right now. We have a Harnden family exhibit. We have a Henny Penny exhibit. That's been there a while. We may be changing that or moving that a little bit soon. We're planning on having Lars Nielsen's Arrowhead exhibit go up in October, because October is Archaeology Month in Massachusetts, so that's our part.
Yeah.
And we try to have different exhibits that will interest people, usually about the town.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, very good. Now, the other day, actually, I was driving by just as you were putting the open flag out.
Yep. If you see that, I'm there, and you can come in.
I saw you putting it up, so I said, oh, Terry's there.
Yep, that's right. That's the signal, for sure. Absolutely. And I usually try to have a sign out front posting my hours, too. If like on a Sunday, if I'm going to be there, I try to make sure people know ahead of time. But you can always look for the flag.
Now, is there a cost to coming in? It's free.
No, it's absolutely free.
So what supports the Harnden Tavern and the museum?
The town, it's owned by the town of Wilmington, and the town supports it. And of course, the Historical Commission oversees it. And the Historical Commission, as well as the Friends, have different events at the tavern. Sometimes they work together. Sometimes they have their own events. Some people do make donations. And the Friends of Harnden Tavern, of course, they have their own fundraising and things. Most of the furniture that's in the tavern is actually items that over the years the Friends have either acquired or bought and installed in the tavern. So a lot of volunteer support. The garden club works on the herb garden in the back. The Minutemen do all sorts of things for us. And
they have a little building down behind.
Yep, that's their headquarters. And it's part of our property, but they use the headquarters. That's not part of a tour or anything like that. That's their headquarters.
Yeah.
But and Boy Scouts. I've had a lot of Boy Scouts in the past year who've done different volunteer jobs for me, working around the yard and whatnot. A lot of volunteer support. That really helps a lot.
Terry, I think we're going to invite Carolyn Harris to come in and join us. Perfect timing. Come on in.
How are you?
How are you? Very nice to see you.
To see
Maybe you and Terry could swap places so I don't have to rudely put my microphone and arm across her. Carolyn, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Now, you have been involved in the Historical Commission forever.
For 21 years now.
Well, everybody who's coming on tonight has been involved in their activity for years and years. It's wonderful. When you really love something, you stick with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Historical Society and some of your events to get money for the tavern.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say it's a historical commission.
Oh. Sorry.
We do not have a historical society in Wilmington.
Okay.
I think the closest thing, and Terry will probably agree, would be the Friends of the Hardin Tavern, who have been formed to
we did speak about that.
support the museum.
Okay.
The Historical Commission, of course, is part of town government. It's a 7-member board. Our members are Julie Fennell. I have to write them down so I don't forget them.
Go right ahead, read them right from your list.
After 21 years, just in case. Bonnie Smith, Kathleen Reynolds, Bill Campbell, Jerry Duggan, and our newest member is Bob Butters. Ann Berghaus is our clerk, and of course, Terry McDermott, the curator of the Wilmington Town Museum at the Hardin Tavern, sits on the Historical Commission.
Okay.
Basically, we meet monthly, the second Monday of the month. Half of the year, we're at the museum for our meetings, beginning in November, I believe. We'll be meeting at the West Schoolhouse.
Oh, okay.
And they're open to the public, and we encourage anyone and everyone, come on down.
Now, I know that you had a huge donation of a huge collection that was discovered in a house several years ago. I forget what the name of that
That's
is.
the Bond Collection, which is the definitive collection of Wilmington's history. Mr. Bond lived in Wilmington in the late 19th, early 20th century, was really the town historian, collected close to 3,000 pieces of historical memorabilia, letters. It's just the definitive collection. We were very fortunate that the town decided to purchase it close to 12 years ago now.
Was it that long ago?
It was a long time.
Yeah, I remember videotaping that over at the library.
Yeah. And we actually, it is presently housed at the library. Portions of it we take out and put on display at the museum. And eventually its home base will be the town museum.
Now, at your meetings of the Historical Commission, what do you discuss? What you're going to show? What events you're going to have?
The Historical Commission basically oversees all of the historical properties in Wilmington, the town-owned properties.
Okay.
We work at cataloging, if you will, taking a look at areas that could become historic districts. We move ahead with that. We have 5 historic districts in Wilmington approved by the National Register of Historic Places, which for the size of Wilmington is incredible that we have identified so many historically worthy areas. During the commission meetings, we also take a look at our historic resources. That's our town list of historic properties, as well as many properties that we have in the National Register. Right now, of course, we have the Butters Farm that we've been working on for the past 2 years now. we're very fortunate that the town voted to support us in the purchase of the Butters Farm. I think it really needs to be said that there was tremendous support in the town for historic preservation of this landmark. Now, now that we have the property, and I really want to add that it hasn't cost the town of Wilmington one dime.
Really?
We raised the funds, the town voted for the purchase. At the same time, we had a legislative appropriation. That legislative appropriation was like a wash. We didn't have to use any monies that the town appropriated.
That was very fortunate.
Initially, we got a $70,000 grant from the state. That
Mass Historical Commission?
Mass Historical came through for us with a preservation grant, and with that grant, we were able to put monies aside from the appropriation to have it towards the preservation of the building. We've raised a considerable amount of money, probably maybe now less than 30,000, but considerable. You know, I think in terms of private donations, the Reading Cooperative Bank helped us, as well as, you know, many organizations, and particularly private citizens in Wilmington have said, you know, this is worthy, we need to save it, we need to preserve it, let's just do it. So we're grateful to everyone.
Excellent.
Right now, the status is we've hired a consultant that's going to do a historical review of the property, and from that point, I should say, we'll be taking, forming a committee and taking a look at what the cost will be to restore. Our goal is going to be to have somebody live in the house and give tours. It should be a part of the town of Wilmington, and that's our ultimate goal.
Well, thank you very much, ladies. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break right now.
That's it.
When I found out my jeans were made using child labor in sweatshops, I wrote a letter to the company saying, reconsider your labor practices. A few months later, I get a letter back saying, thanks for being a loyal customer, and they included a coupon for a 25% discount on their jeans. So I got smart, wrote letters every day to all the stores that carry the brand, asking them to stop supporting the companies who use child labor in sweatshops. And I just kept getting letters back, thanking me for my concerns, and more coupons for more discounts on more jeans. So I'm telling my friend about it, and she flips out, saying that between all the letters and coupons, some paper company cut down a small forest, driving off 2 indigenous tribes, hundreds of endangered animals, killing thousands of plant species, some of which may contain vaccines for HIV, cancer, and syphilis. Meanwhile, the guys cutting down the trees are 13-year-old kids who will work night and day for months just to save up enough money to buy a pair of jeans made by child labor in sweatshops.
I win.
I win! In your face! USA! USA! USA!
Think of all the fun you can have with an adopted pet. Contact your local shelter or pet adoption center.
Backgammon?
Passing gas around infants can be deadly. Passing gas releases a toxic fog of ammonia and hydrogen cyanide, which can be especially harmful on an infant's developing lungs. Passing gas can even contribute to sudden infant death syndrome. Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas, take it outside.
Okay, welcome back to Organizational Night. Before I introduce the Minutemen here, I'd like to talk about the road race again, something we forgot to mention, that all the money that is raised goes back into the town. It's going to be going to high school scholarships, or this year specifically it's going to go to scholarships and a 4th of July committee. in the future, it's going to be going to other organizations in Wilmington, such as Camp 40 Acres or the Food Pantry. So there again, the road race will be held, as we said, on Sunday, September 30th. So support the road race, because it's going to, the proceeds are going to a great cause. Now, I have with me some boys here. I got to behave myself. I'm going to introduce Mike Kelly, who is the captain of the Wilmington Minutemen. You want to tell me who you have with you, Captain?
I have my Adjutant Sergeant Frank West and Private Charles Kelly. Okay. And I've been the captain now. This is my 3rd year as captain of the Wilmington Minutemen. And we meet the 2nd Thursday of every month behind the Hardin Tavern at 8 o'clock. And I'd like to invite anyone that's interested to come by at their convenience.
So to become a member of the Minutemen, obviously you have to know something about the history of the United States, and especially the particular era of the Revolutionary War. Is that a requirement, or
well, if I
do you
could,
educate?
Call my Adjutant Sergeant. He can answer that question better than I can. He keeps all the books and the records.
No, Jim, the only requirement basically is that we do have a membership, and we do a membership form that you fill out, and you're voted actually on the membership, from the membership of the company. There are annual dues, but basically what it is, it's not necessarily a knowledge of history or anything like that, but it's just a knowledge of, wanting to march in parades and actually participate and be a little patriotic. You don't necessarily have to know history per se, but a lot of times if you want to learn something about history, come to us, and we'll be happy to educate as well as show you how to be a Minuteman.
Okay. You want to talk about what you have coming up, where you're going?
Well, we do have quite a few events coming up. We have a parade in Alston on the 23rd of September. We march in Boston on the Columbus Day Parade, and we have a big parade in Woburn, Mass. On Halloween, right on the first Sunday, I believe the first Sunday before Halloween.
Okay, now you do a walk to Concord too, right? Is that true?
Frank, you want to fill him in on that?
Yeah, basically what we do is that reminiscent of how the actual Minutemen, the original real Minutemen, if you will, the original Minutemen of Wilmington marched to Concord. What we do is that we assemble at our headquarters at midnight on Patriots Day, and then what we do is that we regather at the Wilmington Town Common, and we march symbolically from the Town Common up to the 62 Bridge, which we nicknamed Liberty Bridge for the day. Some of us, actually, it was 4 of us actually, that made the trip all the way to Concord this year, and what we're looking to do is, if people want to go to Concord with us, we're more than welcome to have them come with us.
Each member that makes the trip to Concord, they receive a pin that we've made up, the company's made up, a medal, as a appreciation as to the dedication, because it's a long walk and it's in the middle of the night.
Okay, so that's what the medal signifies then? That
yes, it means, and each one has a star with how many times. Like each year, if you march more than once, you'll get a new star with the number. Is how many years? Because some of the guys have marched for 10, 15 years, and people that have passed away have marched. They had marched from the beginning, back in the '68 when they started.
Okay. Is there anything I've forgotten you'd like to add, or?
Well, one thing I'd like to say is that we do a lot of cannon firing and cannon demonstrations and stuff like that, and it's really a lot of fun. It's a little bit dangerous, but once we all work together on it. But if you're interested in actually having live fire with cannons and you want to get involved, that's what we do.
Okay. Would you also, like, say a school wanted you to come to their classroom? Would you talk about the Minutemen and the history? Have you done that?
Oh yes, many times. I've been at the schools, the elementary schools in Tewksbury. You have a reenactment every April, and I've been asked to be a guest at their play. It's quite a turnout.
Yeah, I've heard these guns go off at different events in town, the parades, and I don't know if you do you do it for the 4th of July? I think
the 4th of July, we're in Boston. We march in Boston and we fire cannons as a return fire to the Constitution when it comes out and turns around.
Okay.
But we are in parts of the celebration with the 4th of July here in Wilmington.
Yeah, I see you with the night of fireworks, I think you gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The pancake breakfast also we do.
That's right,
that
yeah.
week, and that's a good big fundraiser for us to keep us going.
Okay. So is that your main fundraiser, or is there other?
We get paid for certain parades, and a lot of stuff we do, we just do voluntarily. But some things they may take them 6 months to pay us, but they usually come around. Different parades we do and stuff. And
yeah, because I imagine the uniforms are, well, is that what they call uniforms, right, that you have cost a few dollars?
Colonial clothes, because they're really not uniforms, because
Yeah, that's right.
the Continental
That's right,
Army
yeah.
would have had the uniforms and the frock coats and all that, and this is just basically what a plain person that lived back in that time would be dressed like this.
See, so you do have to be educated. Like you get questions like that from me, you can answer them, I couldn't.
This is basically how they would have dressed back then, and that's the idea, was to be ready in a minute, hence the term Minuteman. So you always had to be able to go right into battle, and that's the way it is.
Okay, so we're going to shoot off the guns, or what?
He had 3 shots off in 1 minute with his musket.
That's another thing too.
That's how the myth of a Minuteman
became
into the picture. But a well-trained musketman could fire 3 rounds within 1 minute. That would be priming, loading, shooting, priming.
Watching out for the other guy, right?
That's it. And in the event, he would have in case he didn't have time to reload, he would have something like a rifleman's knife prepared or a tomahawk for his defense.
Wow.
The tomahawk was basically the major weapon for hand-to-hand combat in those days.
Wow.
Because when it was close quarters, what are you going to do with something like this? Whack them with or something, you know what I mean? So you had to get your tomahawk.
But in modern day and around parades and different reenactments, we keep all our edged weapons sheathed. Tomahawks always have to be covered, knives and sheaths.
Okay.
Swords, unless they're used as part of a ceremony or a parade, stay in the sheath.
Well, we could talk about an hour on or more on what about the Minutemen, but.
Invented by the French and Indian Wars.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we?
Well, I think the only other thing, Jim, is that although the term is, quote, Minuteman organization, or Minutemen, a lot of times both women and families are involved. Several times during the year, our group has gone in weekend encampments in which, it was basically a family camp out for the weekend. During the day, we're dressed in colonial outfits and colonial uniforms, so this way here we can show different spectators what it was like to be in colonial times, but a lot of the things that we do are family orientated. So it's not just not just quote a men's organization per se. So basically, I like to invite anyone that has families, or if the kids want to get involved, we're certainly welcome to have the kids. Obviously, with kids, we need parental permission, and the parents would have to come to our events. But again, it's something that the kids can go and have a lot of fun and enjoy and learn a little bit about both our local Wilmington history as well as the events that happened, that led to the American Revolution.
Great. It sounds like a lot of fun, and it's also educational. Thank you very much for coming, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Sandra?
Yes, I have the pleasure of being with Cheryl Novello. She's from the VNA Middlesex East, and I'm going to... Oh, we have Minutemen behind us here. And the Middlesex East is a particular branch of the VNA?
Actually, the visiting nurses, there are actually many different VNAs, and we all are independent of one another. So when you're looking for an agency, you really need to be educated on what that particular agency can offer you and your family.
Or do you have to be more aware of which agency you could go to because of where you live? Or because of what you need?
Also, right. Well, I think the most important, obviously, is you first need to find out where a particular VNA services. VNA of Middlesex East services 28 communities, including Wilmington. But then the next step is finding out exactly what they can offer for your particular maybe illness. If you're coming out of the hospital because of congestive heart failure, something like that, the VNA of Middlesex East would be a great agency to choose simply because we offer a cardiac disease management program.
Okay.
That is, that's something that is designed specifically to care for these patients and try to keep them at home and manage this disease at home. And we're able to actually offer telemonitoring for our patients at home now. Yes, we can. What we do is once we've decided a patient would fit the criteria for the cardiac disease management program, we go to the house and we install this telemonitoring that takes your blood pressure, your pulse, your weight, and also your oxygen saturation rate.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But the interesting part about it is that all of the information is gathered. It's very simple to do in the home, but the information is gathered and sent through a phone line to our nurse in a main station in the office.
That's amazing.
Yes, so it doesn't replace our nursing visits. Our nurses are still going out, seeing the patients, but we can do these vital signs several times a day if we need to, or at least every day.
Well, from my mom, I know you do wound care as well.
Absolutely.
And
we have a fabulous wound care nurse.
Yes, yeah. And what are some of the other, the cardiac, the wound care, what are some of the other services that you...
We're lucky enough to be able to offer a pre-hospice program as well as hospice. We also have the Sawtell Family Hospice House in Reading. That's a great option. One of the wonderful programs that we have going on right now is actually free of charge. It's an Alzheimer's caregivers program. And it's no charge to the public because we received a grant, a Title III grant from Mystic Valley Elder Services. And this was developed specifically for individuals that are caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's or any sort of dementia, and they're having a little bit of difficulty managing at home. So we can go in and we can do maybe a home safety evaluation.
Really?
Yes, sure. Therapeutic intervention might be necessary. But the biggest is support and education.
Right, yeah, especially for that person who's caring for the ill person.
Yes,
yeah,
because we need to take care of the caregivers.
Right.
That's
Now, I don't understand the first one that you mentioned, the pre-hospice. Do you
Yes.
evaluate for hospice? Is that what
I'll
that
tell
meant?
you, the best way to explain pre-hospice, sometimes it's called a bridge program as well. When the time has come for a patient, they're not quite ready to receive hospice services for one reason or another. Maybe they're still actively seeking treatment. Pre-hospice is a great way to introduce the hospice concept to the family, to the patient. Our nurses, because we're community VNA as well as hospice, when you go onto our pre-hospice program, our hospice nurses are admitting you to our agency.
Oh, I see.
So you're not necessarily going into hospice yet, receiving end-of-life care. You might still be going to the hospital for treatments and whatnot, but you're receiving all the benefits of our hospice program.
Oh, that's wonderful. Beforehand, I told you that my mother had wonderful treatment by the VNA, not hospice, the VNA nurses. And, you know, they would come in on a regular basis, and they couldn't have been lovelier.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it was just a great experience for her. And for me, knowing that she was getting care, and she actually was not at home, she was in assisted living.
Sure, yes, we go to many assisted living facilities.
Yeah, people don't understand, and I certainly didn't before my mother was in assisted living, that VNA would come in and help her there as well.
Sure. Many of our patients, when they come on care with us, either they've been recently discharged from a hospital or maybe they have come out of a rehabilitation center. Sometimes they go in for a doctor's visit and the doctor says, you know what, I think a visiting nurse would be a good idea for you. But it's not just visiting nurses, it's physical therapy, social work, home health aides.
Right.
We have a lot of different services to offer.
Well, I would really encourage anybody who has someone at home sick or whatever to look into VNA, which one is the one that services your area, because we had very, very positive experience.
Yes.
And a lot of people will be struggling along, and I'll think, no, I won't think, because I'm the type that would say, you know, the VNA will help you out in this situation.
When in doubt, we'll come out and do an assessment.
Right. Now, how are you contacted?
We are usually contacted by a physician. One of your viewers might call their primary physician and ask for a VNA referral, ask for VNA of Middlesex East, we hope.
Right. And so if I had someone who was ill,
Yes.
I could say to my doctor, I think that we need additional help here.
Yes.
Would you please contact Middlesex East or VNA Middlesex East?
Yes, and
Okay.
as simple as that.
Yeah.
We have also taken referrals straight from the public as well, and then we'll contact the primary physician to see if we can. We do need a doctor's order to come in, but that's not usually very difficult to obtain. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned we have updated our website, and if there are any questions on the topics that we've discussed, just
What is your
browse
web
through.
address?
It is VNAOF.org.
Okay. VNA, OF is?
Of.
Oh, VNA of?
ME.
ME, Middlesex East. I got it now, okay. Once I understand it, it's not so hard. And that's .org?
Yes, it is.
It is. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Cheryl.
you.
Yeah, I hope
Glad to be
everybody
here.
who needs your help will know enough to go and seek it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
This is fine. Thanks.
What's that? Check it out, Dave. What do you got there, Dave?
Looks like someone's thunder thighs.
They must have lost them playing in the snow with their kids. Let's get back to work.
There's been some confusion and more than a few jokes told about the terrorism threat level color chart.
So then the bartender says yellow. I thought orange meant elevated.
The truth is, it's no joke. No matter what the color level is, there are some common sense guidelines that every family should follow to help protect themselves in today's less than perfect world. For more information, log on to securityinKnowledge.org. Be informed, be prepared, and be safe.
I'm here with Laura Brophy, who is a parent volunteering over at Wilmington High School, and she will tell you what she's involved in.
I am involved with CATS, which is an acronym for Choral and Theater Support for the Wilmington High School Drama and Choral Groups. We're a very fledgling group. We just started last year officially. So I'm really on a membership drive tonight to the other
Excellent.
parents and friends, anyone really in the community that would like to support the high school drama and choir programs.
Did you come up with this idea yourself, or?
Well, needless to say, I have a child who's very active in all of the programs.
Right.
And it sort of occurred to me that, I was amazed at the quality of the productions that were put on. And I went to the drama teacher, Jason Luciana, and I asked him if he needed help And that was my mistake.
Right.
Because he said, yes, we do. And
Right,
so
come
I
right
saw
on
there was a
in.
great need for it. And so I and a bunch of other parents got together and we decided we need an official support group. So as I said, we're on a membership drive, and throughout the year we do various fundraising
Okay.
to support the group.
So you are looking for more members to come and support your group and maybe
Yes,
do
we are.
fundraisers with you?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and what do you have in mind for fundraisers?
Well, right now we're actually trying to raise funds to buy a new curtain for the stage. I don't know if anyone's been to the Wilmington High School auditorium lately, but the curtain on the stage is a little sad. Been a little neglected, and so we're really trying to raise funds to do that. We haven't come up with a strict program yet for fundraising, so we're open to many ideas from people in the community for that. Right now, we raise funds through lobby sales of flowers and candy at the performances. We also had a booth at the front in the 4th celebration, and some of our students sang a cappella at the booth, so that was really great.
Excellent.
They had a good time.
So what you're really looking for is people to come to your next meeting?
Yes, we hold a meeting every first Monday of the month. However, with the school year starting, we are having our first meeting this month on September 24th at 7.
Okay, so
in the
that would be a
auditorium.
Monday?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, and right in the auditorium?
Yes.
Very good. And what time?
7 o'clock.
Okay, and how, people like to know, is this a long meeting or?
Well, I would hope that I don't drone on, although my daughter would probably say otherwise.
Right.
And maybe you will agree tonight if I continue to babble. No, we try to keep it short and to the point. Sometimes we run about an hour, a little bit over, depending on what's on our agenda for that evening.
What performances were produced last year?
Last year, we did How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, which is a really long title, but the music in it is wonderful, and it was a great period piece set in the 60s. So it was really a great opportunity for all the kids to showcase their talent. And I can tell you that apart from parental pride, personally, there is an amazing wealth of talent at the high school. I think if you actually come see our upcoming production, which is November 30th and December 1st of Footloose, you'll be amazed at the talent we have in town. It's really great. It beats any Boston show, and the ticket price is a lot less.
What are your ticket prices?
Our ticket prices generally run $7 to $10, depending on the show that we do. So it's a lot less, and it's a great bang for the buck.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's excellent. Now, what does your daughter do?
She does everything. She sings and acts and dances. And, I mean, the kids really do a wealth of productions. It's not just about a musical. So if a child doesn't want to sing, but acts, you know, we have one-act plays that they actually do, and they're involved in the Massachusetts High School Drama Guild, and they put on productions there. Last year, a bunch of them got together with a teacher, and they actually wrote their own play and performed it. So we're really involved all over the place, I have to say.
Very good. And was it the choral groups as well that are involved?
Yes, all of the choir groups are involved. So that is the concert choir. We have an a cappella group called Soundscape, and they perform. It's amazing. Last year, actually, the choir went to New York City and performed in St. John the Divine Cathedral, and that was amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because you get a great sound in the cathedral, as you can imagine. And so I think even the kids were surprised at how wonderful they sounded.
It's amazing what goes on in the schools that people just don't realize.
Exactly.
You know, there's so much talent there, and the teachers lead them into these productions, and it's wonderful.
Oh, yes.
And inexpensive.
Exactly.
Which is great to see different kinds of cultural events occurring in our high school and the kids participating.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate as a community that our town supports all these programs, because a lot of communities don't. And so I think that's very important, you know, to express our appreciation for that, because it is the town that supports the groups and the kids, and they appreciate it. They really do.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming. Is
quite
there
welcome.
anything you would like to add?
I don't think so, except I hope I see lots of faces on September 24th, Monday at 7 p.m. in the Barrows Auditorium.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Now back to Jim.
Thank you, Sandra. Where are we? Here we go. Hi. Thank you, Sandra. We have with us David Orange, who's going to be St. Ons. God, I wrote it down, everything. Who's going to talk about the Boy Scouts of America?
Thank you. I am a...
I'll hold that. Okay.
I'm a commissioner, a unit commissioner for the town of Wilmington, and I represent the Greater Lowell District of the Yankee Clipper Council. The Yankee Clipper Council is headquartered in Haverhill, Massachusetts, and we are one of 5 districts. But we are a special district. We are a quality district. Our district, for the second year in a row, got the Quality Award, which is a very difficult chore. We have to meet all the guidelines that we established, and we're the only district in our council to do so. Not only that, the units in our town are also quality units. We have 2 Boy Scout troops and 4 packs. The Boy Scout troop 56 meets at the Congregational Church on Tuesday nights. Troop 136 meets Sunday nights at the Veterans of Foreign Wars building, and the VFW is their sponsor. The packs in town are 59, 56, 136, and 361. 56 meets at the Congregational Church, and they meet on Monday nights. Pack 59 also meets on Monday nights, and they are sponsored by the St. Dorothy's Church, and they meet at Whitehall.
Could I just interject? The age to join the Boy Scouts is what, and how do people get in? Who do they get in touch with to join if they want to?
Well, basically, they get in touch with the pack master of each of the Cub Scout units, or the Scoutmaster of the units. They can drop in on their pack meetings or troop meetings and fill out an application. Now, the ages start from 7 all the way up to the ages of 20. For Cub Scouts, it's 7 to 10. For Boy Scouts, 11 to 14, and for Venture Scouts, 14 to 20. Now, the Boy Scout program actually goes to the age of 18. That is, if a boy is going to go after the Eagle degree, he has up until the age of 18 to achieve this. And quite a few boys just make it by the age of 18, which is kind of too bad. We have an Eagle recognition dinner for them, and those that make it just on the edge often go off to college and they cannot attend this banquet. So they really should finish it by the age of 17 so they can attend this marvelous banquet. Now, I'd like to say something about the funding of the Boy Scouts. The current funding is largely through popcorn sales, but there are other special events such as golf tournaments, and also coming up November 3rd at the there will be a charity auction for the Boy Scouts, and this will be run by John Arvanitis, who is currently pack master of Pack 361, which meets at the United Methodist Church. The other pack in town, which I didn't get to, is 136, and that's the VFW, and they currently meet at Villanova Hall. Thank you. And now our program includes summer camps. We have Camp Watucka, which is located up in North Woods, New Hampshire. It is one of the outstanding camps of the in New England. And we have a special Cub Scout camp, which is located in Kingston, New Hampshire. We also have a day camp in Chelmsford, Mass., which every year since its founding has been a sellout. They take 400 boys for one whole week, and it's a sellout, and that's just a testimony of how good the program is.
So the Boy Scouts are very active in Wilmington, and the Cub Scouts.
I would say that we undoubtedly have 2 of the finest Cub Scout programs in the council.
Wow. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or if you had
something?
See if we can pick this.
I don't know if you can bring this up. This is a picture of.
Want to try this on one?
Camp Watucka. And around the perimeter is some of the many merit badges the boys can earn there. That's.
Okay, what's that? You had a shield.
I have a shield here.
I think they can grab that
This
too.
is important. Boy Scouts will be 100 years of age in 2.5 years. And there'll be a lot of special celebrations you can be sure of. And this is the patch that I think will be coming out to for the event. So we're all looking forward to that.
Well, you're kept busy, I see. No, I don't see in your neighborhood.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Dave, for coming and telling us about the Boy Scouts.
Good. I hope you can doctor this real good.
Oh, yeah. You're on live, so there's no doctoring. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, God, yeah, see, someone's bad.
How do you convince a 14-year-old girl that hair doesn't matter? When the diagnosis is childhood cancer, where can parents turn? CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
I heard about this company dumping toxins in local rivers, and I called their executives to say stop. But they were too busy counting profits while the rivers are being destroyed, birds and fish are dying, and the local kids are getting cancer. So I organized a huge protest, and we actually got the company shut down. But now half the town's unemployed, and the kids are twice as sick since they can't get health care, since their parents lost the insurance they had when they worked for the company who dumped all the toxins in the first place.
All the difference.
Because of them, 5 million people do not have polio. Because of them, families will not have to beg for a meal tonight. Because of them, thousands of high schoolers will never be known as dropouts. They are the 1.2 million members of Rotary, everyday people working together to push hope forward. Rotary, humanity in motion.
Hi, welcome back, and with me now we have Jim Manuel from the Friendship Lodge, and he's going to tell us about the Friendship Lodge.
You want me to
I'll
start?
hold that. You can.
You want to hold that? Friendship Lodge. Well, Friendship Lodge has been here in Wilmington since 1902. We're over 100 years old. We have some members that the people in the town might recognize. One was a Mr. Aldridge, a Dr. Bazell, and let's see, who else would they know? The Eames family.
Right, yeah, all well-known families. Yeah.
Well-known families. So some of the early members of the lodge were well-known in the town of Wilmington.
Okay, how can I become a member of the Friendship Lodge?
All you have to do is ask.
That's it, huh?
That's it. It's as simple as that. You have to ask. Before, they used to have a system where you had to ask 3 times. Now, you just have to ask, or you might even have somebody ask you, because they've become a little bit more outgoing, as you might say, trying to remove what people seem to think is a secret organization, and it really isn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think it is a fraternal organization.
It's a fraternal organization, yes.
The women, they're under the Easter Star, is that?
That's right. The women, over the years, they got felt left out in the evenings that their husbands were at lodge, and so the Eastern Star was formed. Actually, they can't even meet unless they have a Mason there. But they are the Eastern Stars for the women, and then they have the youth programs, which is the Rainbow Girls, and for the boys, they have the DeMolay.
Okay. Let's talk about what you do during the year. I know you, tell us about the Angel Fund. I've heard about the Angel Fund. What specifically is the Angel Fund?
Well, the Angel Fund is kind of hard to say what it is, because we sort of don't let people know what we do in the Angel Fund, except that we do it. What we really do is if for example, somebody in the school system, say in the elementary school, has a family that has the need to get something like a hearing aid or a new pair of glasses, and they find that they don't really have enough money to afford this, the Angel Fund will help them and provide them with some monetary support. We do not announce who we have given it to, so it's sort of like a secret. It's one of our secrets. Okay. We don't let you know who we're providing money to, because it really is a personal thing for the family.
Okay, so you could give glasses to a particular child of a family and they wouldn't know where it came from? Was that what you're saying?
It's possible they wouldn't.
Okay.
They may know it came from the Masons and not really know exactly who.
Now, I know you do a lot, do blood drives also, that's the number one.
Blood drive.
Is there one coming up? Or?
There's one coming up tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It's tomorrow the 13th?
Tomorrow is the 13th.
Yes, we have a blood drive tomorrow at the Lodge from 2 to 7 o'clock. And so if you haven't already signed up for the blood drive, you can drop in. And usually the drop-ins don't have as much luck. If you come early, you probably will be able to give blood. But most of the people pre-sign up for the blood drive.
Oh, so you do get a full quota then, that's good.
The last time we almost didn't know about it, and we got the Lodge opened, and we did have about 60 people come through.
Oh, that's great.
So the Red Cross itself is the one that signs the people up. You normally go to the Red Cross to sign up, and they just are given our Lodge as the meeting place for them to give the blood.
Okay. This past year, you established a website which you were working on.
Yeah, last year we had an open house, and during the open house, the gentleman that was here with me last year and myself, in the spare time that we had, we started putting together our new website, and it's been up pretty much since that time. So it's been up about a year now.
Okay.
And
how do you access that? You just...
Well, it's like any other website. They have the, I gave the name there, so it's Friendship Lodge, MM, just Friendship,
okay,
MM.
It's up on the monitor.
It's up on the monitor?
There
okay.
we go.
Yeah, they can see that. And just this past week, I put up a photo album, and it has 6 little sub-albums, and on it, it shows us the work that the Masons did this past year when they went over to the food pantry when the food pantry was moving, if you remember. And we built about a half a dozen mobile shelving units for them. And you can see pictures of the work that we did and in the process and the gentleman that did it. We do have some fun at Memorial Day when the Shriners and everybody goes by our lodge. Right. And one of the brothers for the last several years has set up a table there where anybody that comes by can get a cup of coffee, and the kids, they can have some punch and donuts and stuff like that. And we just enjoy ourselves watching the Memorial Day parade. We also have some pictures up on the web of the CHIP event that we did this past spring. And so you have pictures of all of the activity that's over at the Wilmington Public Safety Building of the work that was done by the Masons for the CHIP program. It's actually called My CHIP now. And that's the child identification program where a child can come in with his parents and go through a series of stations where they get their fingerprints, they get the DNA at the dentist place, and then they go to a camera place where a short video is done, and then they get a chance to look at the video to make sure that it is right before they finish. Where the Grand Lodge is now in the process of switching from VCR to digital cameras so that they will be getting a digital output rather than a tape output.
Okay. Well, there's a lot going on behind the scene with these organizations that people don't realize. Jim, thank you very much for coming. Is there anything you'd like to add before you've told us about the Angel Fund, blood drives, the youth movement?
Well, one of the other things that we become involved in is more the members do it. We go down to Malden at the HELP program. Now, the HELP program is a place it's in the basement building in Masonic Hall in Malden, where they have hospital equipment for loan. So, HELP, Hospital Equipment Loan Program, and people can go down there, and with people who can't afford to buy a wheelchair or get crutches or various things like that, they can come in on a Saturday. It's only open on Saturdays, and they can just sign out these materials, and they can keep them as long as they need to.
Okay. Mark Twain Award, are you familiar with that?
The Mark Twain Award, yes, I was involved with that. It took place for the last year it was from like December of 2005 to December of 2006. And Friendship Lodge was one of the lodges. It was open to all the lodges in the United States, and Friendship Lodge submitted an entry, and we found out this past spring that Friendship Lodge was one of the 9 lodges who had entered that received the Mark Twain Award. So that's national recognition of our lodge. So 1 of 9 in the entire United States.
Well, that's great. Congratulations. And Jim, thank you very much for coming by and educating us on your lodge.
Thank you.
We're going to wrap it up now. We're going to go to Sandra. Thanks, Jimmy.
Hello.
Oh, we're both on it.
We're going to chat together here for a second. I think tonight was very successful.
It was very successful. You got a lot of information from these organizations, and
we can run a race, go to the library,
go to the lodge,
go to some programs over at the high school.
Right. You don't realize, as I said before many times, that how much is going on in this town, and whether you're retired or whether you're working, if you have any spare evenings or Saturdays or whatever, there's so much you can get involved with in Wilmington. It's a great town to come from.
I've always said that. I love Wilmington, and in addition, now the internet's there to go onto the internet, find the Friendship Lodge, find the Herndon Tavern, and there's so much going on that we can access now so much more easily through the internet.
Yeah, we can just stay home and click on the computer.
Just Google.
Before we sign off, let me just mention quickly that this is Membership Week, and it's also membership month if you want to join the WCTV. Speaking of volunteering, there's so much to be learned down here. If you want to learn about how to run a camera, how to produce a show, or just stand here and look good like we do, it's available to you. For this month, and this month only, students can join and seniors for $5. Individuals can join for $10, families can join for $20, and organizations can join for $35. So I guess that's it, Sandra, right?
That's it for this year. Hopefully we'll both be back here next year.
So I guess good evening, and have a good evening, and go check out the Red Sox.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.